Hello, I am back. Can you guys see me and hear me? How's my camera? Well, now you can't see me, but how's my audio? I know, is YouTube sending out my notifications? I'm curious. What is up? Welcome back to my channel. We're covering the Suzanne Morphew case. Hello. I am Melly. Thank you for being here. We have been covering this case for a couple weeks now. Hey, Carlos. Good to see you. Hi, Jules. Hi, Jules, babes. What the F, dude? Did you guys get my notifications? I need to know. I know Jules said no. Is YouTube playing me? Hello. Okay, I really want to get through this document. If you're not familiar with Suzanne Morphew case, she's who we've been talking about here the last few lives. She was unalived by her husband. It sucks. I bet it's some after darks. Oh, thanks, Jules. I appreciate you. We're gonna get back to happy hump day, by the way, everyone. I'm gonna try to finish it tonight. I don't know that I can. We might have to do another live. I generally can read pretty big documents. This is the first indictment filed in 2021. We have covered the new indictment that's 10 pages a couple lives ago. So if you're interested in that one, you can always go back and rewatch that one. But this one is like 150 pages. So I've been breaking it down because I can read it all in one live, but I feel like a 5-hour live is like too long for a document. So I've been splitting it up. I'm really into it. Suzanne Morphew, she was shot with a dart. What was it? Some dart for tranquilizing animals. And her husband has been indicted for the second time. So we have been reading this document, which is wild, and we're going to continue reading it tonight. We left off on Barry's trip to Garfield as approximate 5 miles each way to his morning trip, and places Barry and his vehicle in the direction, and the helmet was discarded. So we left off on there, and we're going to read March 5th. She went missing on Mother's Day 2020, and her remains weren't found until like recently, which is why he was charged again. The first time it wasn't a cold case. I just think there was discrepancies with the case in the court, and so the charges were dropped the first time around. So we're hoping it sticks this time around. Hey, NMLD. Okay, so March 5th, 2021, part 1. So in this interview, Barry asked for immunity, asked not to get thrown in jail, and said there was no evidence demonstrated how he placed his phone in airplane mode, said Suzanne made him a monster and things just blew up, and further explained the chipmunk and bull elk stories. Wow. Asked to not get thrown in jail. At approximately 6:07 a.m., Special Agent 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐥𝐲 and Special Agent Harris contacted Barry Morphew at the DSI facility. Agents had an appointment with Barry from the previous day to meet at 6 a.m. at his residence. However, Barry left his residence at 5:40 a.m. and pulled into the DSI lot at approximately 6:05 a.m. Okay. Barry stated, yeah, I had a package at UPS I had to pick up. They closed at 6 and I had to get there at 6 to come back to the gym. I didn't lie to you. Special Agent 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐥𝐲, I hope I'm saying that right. 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐥𝐲 said agents were working a homicide case and decided to work with Barry and clear him if possible. Barry said that should have been done months ago. Special Agent 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐥𝐲 said the FBI's job is to collect facts, review the warrants, and Barry was the main person to explain the facts. Barry was told his cooperation was voluntary, and if he chose not to help explain the facts in the case, that was his decision. Barry continued, but everybody's got eyes on me. They see me talking to you. There's people seeing me talk to you right now. There's cameras right now, and it's going to get out. Special Agent 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐥𝐲 told Barry that him talking to the FBI should appear normal to other people and help them calm down. The agent told Barry that Barry's explanation of going to Garfield helped explain the missing 7 miles each way from his truck, something Joe did not know in July. Barry talked about how speaking with the CBI was bad for him because what he told them got out in public. The agent told Barry that he considers talking to agents as a bad thing. Barry was told what normally happens if a dad is missing a daughter or a husband missing a wife is that they knock on the FBI door all the time. I want to believe you want to help find my wife, find out what happened, but the things you've told me has me crushed. It's crushed me, and I don't know. There's no way you guys can know how I feel. I went 9 months thinking one thing, and then all of a sudden you guys come to me and boom, my whole mindset is changed about this whole thing. I'm crushed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I can't leave my daughter. You guys throw me in jail. I've got a 17-year-old that's on her own. You guys don't want that. And I really think it's interesting. The last live we did, he keeps saying daughter, and I'm just wondering if because one is still living at home, maybe. But I'm like, sir, you have 2 daughters. So I'm like, maybe, but the whole daughter thing is like, I don't know, sus to me. They both were defending him the first time around, but now the second time around, I'm like, I don't know, something feels very off. And I know one of them knew about the affair and the other one pretended she didn't know or didn't know. I do have a drink in here. Cheers. So this, I know the pictures are kind of dark, but this is Barry in the pictures. Barry later stated, I know there's no evidence on me because it doesn't exist. He added, I'm telling you that. Special Agent Grusin said things exist that are not explained, and Barry can help with those. Barry said, you told me that if I explained them to you, that you would clear me publicly. Special Agent Grusin agreed. Barry added, because that's what I need, because this whole world is freaking, they've trounced me. Special Agent Grusin told Barry that talking to agents is not a bad thing. Barry stated, it's not a bad thing for you, but if something happens and I say something wrong, or I don't recall something that I told Joe this and I told you something else, boom, I'm done. I lied. Special Agent Grusin told Barry that agents would tell him when his accounts to Joe differ from current statements. Barry said, when I talked to Joe, I was frantic in my mind. I was out of my mind. Even being able to talk to him like I did blows my mind that I was able to do that because I was crushed and I just ... Barry said, and I gave you my GUN. That's my chipmunk GUN. They didn't even take it. The agent said the GUN did not appear to have been fired in a long time. Barry said, yeah, it has. He added, I'm just telling you right now that if I was guilty, I wouldn't hand a weapon over to you guys. What? I have it too in black, Jules. He's so obvious here. Hey, Christine. Special Agent Grusin and Barry's movements that afternoon to include the truck door opening, him running from the porch to porch, and Suzanne not answering texts from her lover looked different from investigators' perspective. Barry stated, I explained that. You can ask anybody that knows me. I've unalived 85 chipmunks at my house. That's all I do. I can't sit still. I'm a worker. I'm a busy bee. That's what I'm doing that day. A busy worker freaking unaliving animals for fun. It's not even like he's eating them. Hi, Lily. Thanks for watching, Lily. Yeah, no. What the heck is his problem? This guy is demented, dude. We know he injected Christine with a dart gun or a dart needle. I forget what they're called. With tranquilizer for elk and deer. It was called BAM. Butorphanol, azapirone, and methotrexate. And they found that in her bones when they found the remains. So it's a very wild case. So he says he's busy working on unaliving 85 chipmunks. Yay! Not. Special Agent Grusin asked Barry for permission to ask another question about the chipmunk thing, and Barry said, yeah. Special Agent Grusin said from 2:44 p.m. to 2:47 p.m., Barry is going to the porches. Barry said, Special Agent said at 2:47 p.m., Barry's phone went into airplane mode. Special Agent Grusin asked Barry if he placed the phone in airplane mode. Barry asked, I don't know where was it on me or was it in the kitchen or what? Special Agent Grusin said the phone movement was how agents knew Barry was moving around. Barry said, oh, because it was on me. The agent said that in the past, Suzanne tried to track Barry's phone because she thought he was having an affair. And Barry said, Special Agent 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐿 and Suzanne told her friends and lover about her tracking him. Barry stated, well, she's told me that. I mean, she's tracked me everywhere I went. When Special Agent 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐿 said Barry may have been placing his phone in airplane mode to keep from being tracked, he said, no. I don't recall turning my phone on airplane mode. I do not recall that. Sure, Barry. Special Agent 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐿 further explained that Barry's phone went into airplane mode at 2:47 p.m. and came back out at 10:18 p.m. So like 7.5 hours, adding that maybe Barry did it on accident. Not him acting like freaking disgusting Stephen Stearns. Remember Stephen Stearns from the Maddie case? How could we forget, right? And he was like, oh, I reset my phone on accident, or I cleared it on accident. Rolling my eyes. Barry looked at his hand as if he was holding his cell phone and said, yeah, it's the first thing that comes up when you hit settings. And it would, if that happened, it was probably on accident. Can that happen on accident? No. I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I don't believe Barry. He added, I mean, I do not recall that. Special Agent 𝐁𝐿 told Barry that his truck doors were opening and closing as it backed into the middle of the driveway. Barry said, I had junk in my trunk, and I always have junk, and I'm always taking something out, leaving my door open. I mean, I don't know. That's the case, but that's what I did. Special Agent 𝐁𝐿 said the truck doors, to include passenger, were opening and closing until 9:52 p.m. That Barry must have been loading a lot in his truck. Barry said, to get ready from Broomfield. Yeah, I was putting everything in my truck from Broomfield. I was cleaning off my workbench just because it was a wreck. Footnote, Barry admits that on April 22nd, 2021, to the FBI that the tranquilizer was on the workbench and that it likely got thrown away in Broomfield. Oh. So he lied. Special Agent Harris later explained that the affair started because Suzanne needed someone to talk to. Barry asked, was it an old boyfriend? At least tell me that. And Special Agent 𝐁𝐿 said he was not. Barry asked, they didn't know each other in high school. And the agent said Suzanne reached out to talk to someone. Special Agent 𝐁𝐿 said Suzanne reached out to talk to someone too because Barry was working all the time. And Special Agent Harris said Barry was gone from Suzanne for 2 years in Indiana. Okay, so this is like a total red flag to me because, and I'm sure to the investigators, because he says that did they know each other in high school? And Barry at this point is saying like, oh, I didn't know about the affair because Suzanne was having an affair with like a boyfriend from high school. And so I think that's, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think that that's what set off Barry to unalive her. I think he found the pictures, the selfies. I don't know. He lost his damn mind. And so I think that him saying like, oh, did they know each other in high school? Like he knows because that's true. Like you just guess that out of the blue when your wife's having an affair. Like, I mean, it could have been the guy at the gym. It could have been the guy at the gas station. Like, I don't know, at the Walmart. Who knows? But the fact that he said that is like, Special Agent 𝐁𝐿 said that for Suzanne, perception was reality. For instance, when Barry put a GUN to his head, he was not physically abusing her, but she felt like he was. Barry said mentally and emotionally, she said that. So we do know they had a very troubled relationship. And some people say Barry was, an alcoholic, violent and abusive. Suzanne said it here. Clearly, he just admitted, that she said that. I don't see him. Well, let's see what he says. Barry added, if I abused her anyway, it was emotionally. And I got angry at times, but it was just because she accused me of things that were just not true. And I have no way to prove it to her. She had no evidence that I ever did anything with another woman, and I haven't. But I couldn't prove that. I mean, you think 32 years of a lover, you could look them in the eyes and say, honey, I've never done that to you. And that they would believe you, but she didn't. And I think she took that mindset with her alcohol and her pills, her depression, her and her cancer, all of this. I think she made this monster in her head and it just blew up. It's really sad that he is saying all of this because, I don't know, some stuff is like Suzanne was happy with her personal life and was in love with Jeff, the lover, and she was trying to leave Barry. So it's obviously he would be trying to cover his ass. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐸𝐳 asked Barry about accounting for mileage when he saw the bull elk, whether he climbed or how he turned around. Barry said, "No, I just turned around." When asked where, Barry stated, "Garfield, probably the first place that I could turn left in. I didn't go in and then turn around. I just backed in and went straight to Broomfield." Barry said, "And I had no idea, and I should have told Joe that." And then Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐸𝐳 interjected and said that Joe did not know that back then. Barry said, "Yeah, I didn't, but I didn't keep it from him. It just didn't come to my head." Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐸𝐳 told Barry he could not be a good dad for Redacted because of the stress. He replied, "And I'm not, and it's killing her, and I just want to put it behind. I want to start new. I just want to start over, and I don't know how to. I loved Suzanne. I hate what she did to me. That breaks my heart, but I can't live like this. I can't go on like this." He's so dramatic. Remember, Suzanne thought he was having an affair as well. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐸𝐳 said agents do not intend to investigate this indefinitely, but Barry is the best source of information versus other people who do not know. Barry asked, "What about immunity? Can you give me immunity if I sit and just open my life to you?" What? I can't believe that after this whole document we've been reading and deep diving that he still walked after this. Because remember, the charges were dropped the first time. Not without prejudice, though. So that means that the case can be reopened at any point, which just happened in June. So Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐸𝐳 asked, "Immunity for what?" And Barry replied, "I think in case somebody falsely convicts me or something." Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐸𝐳 said, "You won't be falsely convicted." Barry was told if something bad happened, agents would argue to the DA that Suzanne had the affair and talked about antagonizing him starting May 5th. Barry asked, "She actually set a date?" Barry was told it was that week. Barry asked, "Did she actually say to him that she wanted to leave me and be with him?" Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐸𝐳 confirmed and Barry replied, "She actually said that?" ? Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐸𝐳 and agents could show him the text that she wanted to start a new life with him. Barry said he had to go to work and asked agents to check on his rifle scopes and tax paperwork, whether they could be returned to him. Part 2 of the interview. In this interview, Barry asserted that Suzanne's phone should have been found, that he had an intuition about her affair, and that he could not recall what he threw away on May 10th, though he was shown photos, and that Suzanne was drunk when he came home Saturday afternoon. That's unfortunate that we won't know if she was drunk, because I don't think alcohol, well, they only found remains, and I know they found bleach and vamp, but I don't think they found alcohol, to be honest. But I don't know if they could do a toxicology for what they found of her remains. So I need to look into that. Or did we already go through that? I can't remember. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐸𝐳 and Special Agent Harris met with Barry at his Tailwind worksite behind his condo in the afternoon of March 5th, 2021. When Barry is told that all of the people sent the Facebook request said it didn't seem like it was Suzanne sending them, the agents wonder if Suzanne was doing that just to make him mad. Barry said Suzanne has never done that in her life. When asked if Suzanne told him she befriended these people, he said no, and then said, "But I have her phone. She gave me full access to her phone. She gave me the passcode. I mean, do you guys have her phone? Do you have her phone?" When agents tell Barry that they don't have her phone, he says, "Nobody found her phone, and then I figured you guys have to have it." And he then says, "See, that's really weird, because I thought from day one you guys had the phone." And the phone still has not been found. I have a feeling that's one of the things he definitely threw away. You might be right, Louise. No, only heavy metals will show in bones. Hey, Killa. Barry said when When asked where he would look for the phone, knowing where the bike and the helmet were, he said in between. Barry talks about Suzanne's affair possibly getting out on social media, and if it does, you know darn good and well what everybody is going to say. I mean, I don't know if you guys think it. Barry added, but they're like, oh, Barry found out she had a boyfriend and then unalived her. Yes, Barry, that's exactly what we think you did. He continued, I mean, that's what people say, and I'm hoping you guys believe me that I didn't know that one bit that day until you guys came to my backyard. Agents talk about some things related to Suzanne's 7 trips and her behavior in Mexico that likely made Barry suspicious, like when he wanted to see her phone because he was not a fool. Barry said, I had some intuition, but I would never think it was a physical thing. Barry was told that doesn't make him guilty of her disappearance. Barry does not protest. Wow. Barry is reminded of the argument that was recorded on the pen, and Suzanne says, saying it was about money, and asked what that was about. Barry said it was Suzanne's grandmother's money and explained that Barry and Suzanne had borrowed $100,000 from Suzanne's dad and that it caused family problems with Suzanne's brother. Barry said Suzanne wanted to pay it back with her grandmother's money, but Barry said he made a lot of money and he would pay it back. I don't think I believe that. I kind of think he was into the money, like all the things he did, the house. He was selling her house like a month after, and her stuff, and getting rid of her stuff like a month after she went missing, and she still hadn't been found. Like he was just like, okay, she's missing. I'm done with her. Which is messed up. Barry was asked about his phone pinging down by the river during the Facebook post on Friday night and asked if he was outside. Barry said, I could have been. I don't remember. I chase critters around the house all the time. There's a bear that got into the garage. He completely destroyed my garage, and I've been looking for him ever since he came in the garage. I wasn't going to unalive him, but I was just going to scare him off, and coyotes are always outside. No, I think Barry wanted to unalive the bear and keep it as bear fur. Barry was shown a map printout of Highway 50 near the Garfield area west of his Puma Path house and asked about where he turned around at Garfield when he left his house. He asked where his road is and is told that it is off the map. Barry said, I can't tell you exactly where I turned around, but it was probably the first road or drive going into Garfield. Barry said the reason he was watching where the elk go is because he hunts sheds, and that while the bull didn't have its horns, it was a big bull, and he figured that Barry could get its pattern and then he could follow the pattern and find his horns. Wait, the bull doesn't have horns? Like the bulls can just take them off with their hands? Or what does he mean by that? Like, where he lost them? Or like, did someone else take his horns? Well, I'm not familiar with hunting, clearly. I think it's quite scary. Scary like Barry. Okay, Barry talks about the county road where the helmet was found and said he was pretty sure he went past that one because he was still looking around at the herd. As Barry discussed watching the herd and its patterns, and when he turned around, he was motioning several times back and forth with the pen from the road to the location of Garfield on the map. Barry was shown a photo of the RTD stop and asked about it. Barry said he pulled over there to GPS the job site. There was a trash can right there, and he just took stuff out of his truck. Barry said whatever he threw away was probably just sitting right there on his seat. Barry said he couldn't tell agents what it was, but it wasn't worth anything. Barry says it was just junk, probably wrappers and cans. Agents labeled this as trash run number 1. Barry was shown a satellite image of the south side of hotel where his truck parked. Barry said he remembers why he was there. Barry said he was just waiting for someone to come out of the door and go in and get a free breakfast. Agents labeled this as trash run number 2. Barry was shown photos from the video surveillance of him carrying things, including boots, into the hotel. Barry said he doesn't even remember carrying the boots into the hotel. Then Barry said he remembered that he took them into the hotel take the laces out. Barry said the boots had holes in them, but he wanted to save the laces, so he took them in to take the laces out. Barry was asked about the blue item he was holding, and he said it looked like his swimsuit and asked if they got it from his truck. Barry was asked by agents if he remembers what was in the garbage bag. Barry said it was probably male. Barry asked about changing his shirts, was asked about changing his shirts that day, and he said he did so because it was hot. Okay, so in this picture, okay, so she was wearing like a blue aqua outfit when she was riding her bike and she went missing. So maybe it could have been his shorts. I don't know. Maybe it was her clothes. Barry was shown photos from video surveillance and asked about his McDonald's trash run. Barry said he was pushing it down because the trash was at the top and he was pushing it down so it would fit. Barry was asked what the small item was that he was throwing away, and he said he couldn't remember. Barry said he does this all the time and it is just him. Barry said, I know it looks bad and it probably looked bad to Joe, but there's nothing there. Agents labeled this as trash run number 3. Barry was shown a map of the men's warehouse parking lot and told that he stopped there. Agents asked if he took things to the dumpster there. Barry said, not to my knowledge. Barry was asked if he took things to a trash can, and he replied, I could have. Barry was told he was there for about 40 minutes and asked if he remembered what he was doing there. Barry said, I think I was still cleaning my truck. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was probably getting crap out of my truck, like I said, which I've done my whole entire life. Dramatic much? Agents labeled this as trash run number 4. Barry was shown the photograph of the binder he's carrying into the hotel. Barry said it was papers related to his job so he could study and prepare for the job. Barry was asked about changing from a black to a gray shirt. Barry said it was because gray would reflect the sun. Barry said again that from what he has seen, Suzanne left and he wants to go to Mexico to find her, adding that Suzanne doesn't have to go through the border, and wondered if she had $70,000. Special Agent '𝐭𝐸𝐸 said if it wasn't Suzanne, the FBI would consider it. Barry said, but she turned into a different person. She was working out. She was never this fit and this ballsy in her life. Barry said her mind was altered from the drugs and alcohol, adding that substances alter people's mind and that he's positive Suzanne's mind was altered. Special Agent '𝐭𝐸𝐸 asked if her mind was altered Saturday afternoon when he came home, referencing Barry's statement of her drunk eyes in the photograph. You know, yeah, Suzanne was looking good, but she was over him. She wanted to leave him. So it wasn't that made her more confident, which it probably did. It wasn't just that. She wanted to leave him. Barry said, I thought it was, but I thought this might be good because it might make for a better night if she's cut the edge off with something. So I wasn't going to, and he doesn't finish the sentence. Special Agent '𝐭𝐸𝐸 says Barry wasn't going to fight her on it. Barry said, so I wasn't opposed to that day, and I surely wasn't going to bring it up. If I bring those things up, it just causes a fight. She'll start something, so just let it go. On March 10th, 2021, part 2, so this is another interview. In this interview, Barry said Suzanne might be in the river, described the Elks path across Highway 50, and if he disposed of her between Salida and Broomfield, agents would see evidence from his truck, discussed why Redacted's bed sheets made him look bad, and that the tranquilizer dart evidence could be explained from him shooting 2 deer with a dart gun near his house. That she might be in the river. He had so many reasons for her, like the river, the chipmunks, the what did he say? That she was attacked by like a mountain lion or something. Yeah. Barry met with Special Agent '𝐭𝐸𝐸 and Special Agent Harris at Fire Station 4, La Plata Street in Colorado. Once seated, Barry asked about his scopes. Special Agent '𝐭𝐸𝐸 replied that the scopes could be removed from the rifles, but if the agents can clear Barry, he can get everything back. Barry agreed to wait and said if he was guilty, he would not be talking to agents, adding, quote unquote, because I'm not stupid. He said has answered every question and wants it to be over. He commented that agents sitting at his workplace make him uncomfortable. Special Agent '𝐭𝐸𝐸 said Barry does not return texts or calls, so agents wait until he appears ready because he appears too nervous to talk. Barry said, I think we've gotten through that, adding that he lost trust when Joe and Derek turned on me. Barry stated that Suzanne told Sheila about things that has pitted Sheila against me. Sheila's her sister, Suzanne's sister. He said he thought Sheila, wait, was it the sister or the best friend? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. He said he thought Sheila would counsel her that marriage is for life. Barry said he told Suzanne when they got married it was for life, specifically saying to her, I'm a godly man, and you better make sure that you want me because it's for life. Barry said, I don't understand. I mean, Suzanne's a good woman. You guys probably think she's a piece of crap. Special Agent Grusing said agents do not think that, and Barry said she's as good as they come. I don't understand what got her to this point. Barry said he did not want to fight with Suzanne because of her cancer. He added, the next night it would be like nothing ever happened, and she'd be wonderful. She'd make love. Barry added, we had a great night that Saturday before. We made love that night. There was nothing that happened at 2:30. I mean, I looked back, nothing. I grilled steak at probably 5 or 6. We ate dinner, went to bed, we made love. He added, I always fall asleep right away because I'm dead tired from work. Surely she stayed up, but I don't know. Shaking his head. I don't know if she stayed up or went somewhere and texted or did something. Special Agent Grusing asked where they had sex, and Barry answered, in the bed in the master bedroom. Barry then referenced the second Valentine's Day in a row when Suzanne met this guy when she said she was meeting her dad. Barry said he told Suzanne, honey, I'm coming to Florida. Let's just spend a few days. He said he went and they had an unbelievable time. We had sex 3 times a day. She was incredibly romantic with me. She gave me the most beautiful card that was heartfelt. Barry said Suzanne must have not been in her right mind to make love with another man. Oh, to be in love with another man and treat Barry like she still loves him. I don't know if I believe that. Like the whole, things were good. She lied to him to get there. So why would things be good? I don't know. Special Agent Harris told Barry that Suzanne's life with her lover appears to be more her truer life than her life with Barry, and that agents did not doubt they still had sex, but she was placating Barry. Barry was told Suzanne felt like she had to have sex with him at times. Special Agent Grusing referenced her music, books, drinking IPAs, and the bike riding as pieces of her new life with her new lover, that he was encouraging her to find her true self, and Suzanne was looking for a new life. Barry asked, so what's this guy's relationship with his wife? He asked if the lover's wife was ugly, and Special Agent Grusing said she was not. Wait, what the heck? He asked the agent that. He's a monster. Barry asked for more information about the lover, and Special Agent Grusing told Barry he was not cleared as a suspect and would have to be cleared before knowing such things and getting his GUNS back. Barry said, I would agree with that, but there's not one GUN in the safe that's been fired for months. He added, the only thing I fired is my chipmunk GUN, and I guarantee you I fired that even before Suzanne went missing. Barry confirmed that he gave the GUNS to the agents. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry when he thought it was okay to stop searching for Suzanne, and he replied never. Special Agent Grusing asked when Barry physically stopped searching for her, and he said, I searched for 3 to 5 months. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry at what point he felt he was searching would do no good. Barry said, I felt like she was gone. I felt like I really felt in my heart that somebody took her and left the area. And then probably 5 months down the road, I thought she's in the river. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry what he did about searching difficult places like mine shafts. He said, we did. We searched every mine shaft in this area. Special Agent Grusing asked if vertical shafts were in the area, and Barry replied, yeah, there's one behind the house that's on the very top, but it's plugged by a boulder. They plugged it. It doesn't go. It goes straight down, and they plugged it. When asked if there were more, he added, there's another one, but it's been blown up by the house. I don't know of anything open by the house. The ones in Garfield are open. The ones up 240 are open. Special Agent Grusing asked if search and rescue covered those, and Barry said they did not search much past the first day or go across the highway. He said, I was certain that the first day that a mountain lion got her. I was certain of it. He added, I've been hunting that lion for 2 years. Oh my God. No way. He really thought the mountain lion got her. And that's the same mountain lion for 2 years. Barry said he tracked the lion 6 times and knows his habits. Coming down the hill behind the house, up the road, across the bridge, across Highway 50, and east across the mountain. He added, I've seen him do it 100 times. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐥𝐸 asked Barry if the lion was seen by the helmet, and Barry replied he did not know. Barry said he was told there was no blood evidence at the scene, but he and George said too many vehicles drove through it. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐥𝐸 asked how far the lion could carry Suzanne, and Barry replied, to the top, to the very top. Barry said that this is the first place he looked because he has seen TV shows where lions dragged people up a mountain. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐥𝐸 asked Barry how a lion would eat a person, and he replied, lions go for the neck. When asked if the lions completely eat a person, Barry replied, he's not going to eat her clothes. When a lion eats a deer, he's going to unintelligible, it's whatever he said, they didn't put it in the report, and then it says the fur. He added, her clothing should have been found. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐥𝐸 discussed the initial response and lack of information law enforcement possessed. Barry was asked, I can't with him. I can't, like, he's so ridiculous. He added, Barry was asked what he presently thinks happened to Suzanne, and he said, I think she left. Okay, so what was it? She left, she drowned, she got kidnapped, the mountain lion, the chipmunks, the accident, the kidnapper, and then she left to Mexico. That's all the things he said about her missing. Yeah, like a 260-pound lion. Yeah, like a human lion. Okay, Special Agent discussed the initial response and lack of information. Oh, I already read that. He added that the money is gone and he thinks she left and something went wrong. Barry said she would not leave her girls. I believe that part. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐥𝐸 asked Barry where Suzanne would go if not to her lover. Barry said she would be the kind of person and that would say, I'm just going to disappear and see what happens and then try to start my life. Barry said there's no way she cares more about, quote unquote, this guy than about her girls. He added, I just have no clue. I thought she was in the river. He said search and rescue assured him she was not there after they used pokey sticks. Is it pokey or poke sticks? Probably poke. Barry stated, I don't know what that is. Barry stated, at the end of the summer, I'm like, what if she's there the whole time? What if she's there? He talked about using an excavator from work and tearing up a beaver dam, but needing a 200 or 320 size excavator because of the hundreds of trees. Barry asked, could she be there right now? Dude, I can't with him. Absolutely. I don't understand why they spent $140,000 digging up my job site if they would have put that money in the river, cleaning it and making sure the body's not there. That would have been put to good use. He continued that the neighbor who heard the machine was 90 years old and senile, and the contractor who worked at his job site asserted no work was done recently where the dig occurred. He said the media got a hold of that and everybody jumped on beating the freaking crap out of me, he said. I'm not sure the average lion size these days. That's kind of funny. Oh, she drowned in the beaver. Yeah, apparently, yeah. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐥𝐸 asked Barry if, after he looked at the bull elk, he continued past the exit to 285 to Denver or continued onto Highway 50 into town. Barry said, no, I went straight there. When asked how long he watched the bull elk and if it was walking along the highway, Barry said, no, they crossed. I was trying to see where they were going up the mountain because that's where I was going to go look for his horns because they do the same things. They're going to drop their horns in the same pattern. I need to watch a video on that. Like, do bulls just drop their horns, pick them up, put them back in? Or do they just drop them and then grow new ones? Or do they just drop them and nothing happens? They're just missing them. And how do they just drop them? Do they yank them out? What's going on here? Can someone explain, please? Because I'm very confused. They're going to drop their horns in the same pattern? He added, they had already crossed. They were in the road when I stopped in the road before I got to 50. They were in the road crossing, and then they crossed the road by the time I get up there. They're already crossing the mountains. I mean, I don't stop on 50. I keep going. I'm just watching to see where they're going. I get to Garfield, turn around, and go right to 285. The footnote says, investigators have driven from the intersection of Highway 225 and Highway 50 to Garfield, a distance of approximately 2.73 miles, an impossible distance to see an elk at around 4:32 a.m. and follow it in a short period of time. Barry had 30 minutes to head that way, turn around, and head back towards Highway 285. Barry's truck was seen passing the video surveillance on Highway 50, right near the junction with Highway 285, and then again just north on Highway 285 around 5:14 and 5:16 a.m. What are these pictures of him doing? He's talking to the police in these pictures. They're like body cam photos. Barry continued, and the thing about it is, if I had anything to do with anything with this at all, there would be evidence of me and my truck doing something with her between Salida and Broomfield. Google map that shit. Someone tell me about the damn horns. Let me see. Barry added, and yes, if I had her and took her to Broomfield and disposed of her somewhere between there, you guys would see that with my computer. You see where I stopped. I told Joe every stop I made, and I know for a fact it had to line up with my computer. If you guys are that good at forensics, it had to line up. Special Agent Grising told Barry that agents could not see every location point when he was in the mountains, which is why the bull elk story made sense. Barry said, yeah, I know that you had my truck for several days. I know that you had my house. I know that you had her car. And there's just no possible way that you found any evidence in any of that because it doesn't exist. He added, I know that you took my bed sheets. I know. I didn't even know until after the fact that Redacted's sheets were off her bed upstairs. I mean, what a coincidence. Her sheets are off her bed, and then all of a sudden it's like, that's where he did it, and then the sheets are gone. He washed them, blah, blah, blah. I had no idea they were off. Suzanne was obviously washing the sheets because Redacted was with Suzanne and Redacted, and they were going to stay there the night, and Suzanne's taking sheets off and washing, getting things ready. I do kind of believe that because her daughters were going to be coming home. Special Agent Grising asked that if Redacted was going to stay there, and Barry said, yeah, they always sleep together. They're talking about the two daughters. Barry continued, so I didn't even know those sheets were off the bed, but boom, that makes me look bad, and I was not even aware of it. But I guarantee you, there's no evidence on those sheets, wherever they're at. I don't know if you can have evidence when you wash them out or not. I've never done your job. But there, I know for a fact that you guys have found no evidence on me doing any of this. It just doesn't exist. That's why I just don't understand how it can go on 9 months. Special Agent Grising said the odd thing about the sheets in the house was that the tranquilizer dart had been fired in or around the house. This is a side note. Footnote, the evidence of Suzanne's bicycle disposal and helmet occurred near Marysville and Garfield, areas Barry passed before he reached Salida. Barry is presumed to mean to say Redacted, where he says Suzanne. Okay, so he messed up. Barry replied, and I have shot again, and I have told you I don't want to get in trouble with DNR. Special Agent Grising inserted that he was not. Barry continued, I'm telling you right now, I've shot 2 deer with my Trent gun. Because I used to raise deer and I collect horns. And I'll tell you exactly what I did. He continued, they're in the yard. I shoot them and they go to sleep. I cut their horns off. I can't. And I wake them up and they go off with no horns on their head and I cut their horns. I can't. Subbed just to tell you, elk drop off their antlers every year and regrow bigger ones. Oh my God. Thank you. I had no idea. I need to look into this. I kind of knew that, but I was a little confused, like the process of it all, of these animals. So thank you. I'm going to watch some videos about that tonight. Maybe we can watch them together on Melly After Dark. And this is disgusting. I'm sorry if you're a hunter. No offense to anyone in the chat. No offense to anyone watching. But I think this is borderline. Don't deer do that too? I don't freaking know. I can't believe how many words Barry says. I can't believe he says all of this and not once has he asked for a dang lawyer, dude. Dude, I get pulled over and I'm already like, sir, don't even speak. I need a lawyer present. So do whitetails. Really? That's interesting. I don't like how he shoots these deers and cuts their horn. Can't he just wait till they're unalived, like by a car on accident, and then take their horns, I guess? Yeah, deer and moose too. Is that like a thing, really? Like, is that really popular, the horn cutting? I'm sure it is, but like, I don't know anybody who does it. Special Agent Grusing said Barry's friend in Indiana talked about that, and he replied, and it's totally illegal. And so I'm not going to share that with the DNR. The way they are, they come and arrest me. So things like that in my head, what should I say? And then nobody asked me about the trank dart, but they're going to find trank darts around my property because I've done that. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry when he last did that, and he shook his head and replied, I don't recall, but it would be when deer had antlers, and that's usually late April. The special agent said that made sense because investigators could not explain a tranquilizer dart. I think collecting them that fall off is a thing. Yeah, but putting an animal to sleep and taking advantage of it, I can't. I'm upset about the poor little deer and the, and the elk. Barry said, I'm just telling you right now, I'm a redneck. And I'm the first thing I thought of when I came here and saw deer in my yard with big horns. I'm like, I'm getting them horns. Not going to kill it, not going to poach it. But I guarantee you, if DNR knew I did it, that they'd slap my wrist pretty hard. People don't actually dart deer to harvest their antlers. I walked my property and found antler sheds a lot. Yeah, but he was doing it. He was shooting them with bam. Oh, he's nuts. Special Agent Grusing said agents are not here for those reasons. Barry said, I know, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. I'm just being open with you. I obviously, things line up against me, coincidentally or for some reason. I mean, I look back and see some things that happened and like, gosh, why would God allow that? Those things in the situation to make me look like the sheets, the bed unmade, and he doesn't finish his sentence. I think, Barry, you might win the Oscar. You might actually really win it. Hey, Brian. Thank you for sending Jules. I BS on that one. He's darted a woman. He did. He darted his wife. We wouldn't be reading this if he was normal. That's also true. Oh, I'm getting on. Jason, no. Don't want to have to block you for saying inappropriate things about animals. I'm just kidding. Special Agent Grusing asked why those things made Barry look bad, and he said, because it looks like if I did something and ripped the sheets and got blood on them and ripped them off and washed them, to me, looking at it through the detective's eyes, that would be a little suspicious. Barry continued, so obviously I didn't, and just little things like that. And I'm like, and just like throwing my crap away. I've done that my whole entire life. And I told Joe, I said, I was in a hurry. I was going to put it in the dumpster. And I think the dumpster, bulging anyway. But I had all this freaking crap in my trunk and truck. And I've done that my whole life. I see a trash can, I pull over. I throw something out. I've done it my whole life. Do you do that? Does someone in the chat do this? Hey, Brian. Thank you for gifting and thank you for becoming a new member. I appreciate you. You're such a good supporter of the channel. Thank you. And dropped her down a mine shaft in the beaver. Yeah, I know. Barry continued. So whatever we have to do to get this over, I need it over for me. I need to move on, move forward somehow. Of course, what you told me about the affair broke me. I'm still broken about it. I will probably never get over that. But the good thing about that is it would allow me to move on, knowing if what you're saying is true, even if she comes back or even if we find her alive, She doesn't want me anymore anyway. So why should I put all of my heart and my love into this relationship if she doesn't want me anymore? Oh my God, there's a hurricane there, Jules. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Barry continued, I can't go on like this. This is no way to live. It's not fair to my daughters that I be so upset. But you want to talk about the relationship, which I think is where we were when we left. I'll answer anything about Suzanne and I, but obviously she had two different worlds. I just can't believe what she's telling this guy, and I can't believe what she's telling her friends and family. Special Agent Gruesing read the text of Barry's response on May 6th, saying Barry was sorry things went the way they did, asking what he meant by the way they did. Barry said, I don't recall that. Barry added, and I just know there was a terrible text and I told Joe about that. Special Agent Gruesing said this was Wednesday, and Barry said, yeah, but I thought it was Friday when I talked to Joe. I thought this happened Friday. Special Agent Harris asked if Barry knew what the fight was about, and he said, she was accusing me of having an affair, and she accused me of having cameras in the house, watching her every move. When Special Agent Gruesing asked if Barry had functioning game cameras, he said, I had game cameras. I think all of them were in the safe. They took them all. The game cameras I had outside, sometimes I put them by the drive just to see if anybody's coming in and out when I'm gone. But most of the time, I'm trying to get a picture of a deer, an elk, or a bear. But I had no cameras in the house. I've never used a camera in the house, and she was absolutely sure that I had cameras in the house. Barry said he monitored the cameras with a little SD card that he could put into a computer. He added, yeah, and even the outside cameras, she thought, oh, you're watching, or your girlfriend is watching you on the outside cameras. I said, honey, the outside cameras don't even work. But she was just certain that if I was just outside with her and doing something in the yard, she would say, I know she's watching you. Just stupid stuff. And I'm like, that's why the only reason that these fights happen is because she's accusing me. And I never understood them until now. She's accusing me because she wants to justify her relationship. Special Agent Gruesing said Suzanne's affair did not start until 2018, and she suspected he was having an affair when they were in Indiana. Barry said it goes way back, but it had never gotten to this point where she was just, it's almost like before when she said she wanted me to admit it and be done with it. Barry continued, and now it's like, shh, I don't care. I got somebody. I don't care. That was her attitude. Special Agent Gruesing said on May 6th, Suzanne wrote in her notes that Barry accused her and accused her of redacted and boyfriend. After coming, redacted was on one of her medications, Barry said, and I told you why I did that. I did that to make her feel what it's like to be accused because I didn't believe she had a boyfriend. I mean, I've told you guys that since day one. You surprised the heck out of me telling me that she's having an affair. If you would have said she's texting somebody and having an emotional conversation affair, maybe I could have, but physical? She loves the Lord. She knows God's word. We got to answer to the Lord when we do things like that. Special Agent Gruesing interrupted with Barry's earlier reference to King David's affair. Barry was told that agents see bad things about people in investigations like this all the time, adding this was an intimate partner investigation from the beginning. He totally knew she was having an affair. Barry talked about a couple from their church whom they grew up with, and the wife went off with another man, destroying the family. Barry said, the thing about Suzanne is, I wouldn't think that she could ever destroy her family because we were so close. We were very close, all four of us. That's why I'm like, Suzanne couldn't do this, just knowing who she is, knowing our love story. Barry talked about meeting Suzanne, talking all night, falling in love, and having children. He spoke of the 2013 incident when Suzanne almost died from cleaning the shower with bleach and peroxide, and the fumes interacted with the chemo and put her mind into anxiety mode. Barry said he was a workaholic and a huntaholic and cheated her out of what a woman needs emotionally. He said he was never home and worked daylight until dark, going selfishly hunting. Barry added, she's the love of my life. She'll always be the love of my life. I've forgiven her for what she's done to me. I really think he is a psychopath. Hey, Junior. Hey, Edwin. Like, he's like, I forgive her. Well, what about, does she forgive you? But Barry added, I don't know if I could ever be with her again if she comes back. I'm justified not to through this. Barry said he has to trust God because God knows more than us, and I can be angry with God and say, you can't take my wife. You can't take their mother. It irks me that he brings up like God and religious in this. He does it throughout the whole freaking document. Suzanne Harris said Suzanne wrote in her, I'm sorry, Special Agent Harris said Suzanne wrote in her notes that she talked to Barry about divorce as early as 2019. Barry said, I don't recall ever talking about divorce. I recalled her mentioning it in a fight, but when we're both sober and sitting down and having a heart-to-heart talk, I don't ever recall her telling me that she wants a divorce ever. Hey, Matt. Hey, Eternal Matt. Good to see you. He's using religion as, yeah. Mm-hmm. Special Agent Harris explained that in 2019, Suzanne and Barry won't hear talk about divorce. Barry asked to whom Suzanne told that, and agent said it was a friend. Special Agent Harris said she brought up the topic and said Barry won't even hear it. Barry responded with, I wouldn't. I mean, if she said, hey, we're going to have a talk about this tonight, which she never did, I would say, I'm not discussing this because it's never going to happen. Special Agent 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐿 asked if Barry or Suzanne discussed such things with the girls. Barry said absolutely not. And we know from the last live that one of them knew about the affair and the other one was saying she didn't know, or maybe she did know and she was lying. Special Agent 𝐁𝐿𝐥𝐿 asked if the girls ever saw them fighting. Barry said, there's a couple of times where they saw us fighting, but it was about the other women thing. I was just fed up. And I'm like, one day I was like, they were both upstairs and I said, girls, get down here. We got to have a talk. Your mom thinks I have a girlfriend. I don't know what to do. And I drugged them into it. And it was the worst thing I ever did because Suzanne, she didn't appreciate that, bringing them into that. And, but I was just desperate. I needed help. I needed somebody on my side and I drugged them into it. And it was a bad thing to do. And she never forgave me for that. Special Agent Harris said, Barry did not want to hear about divorce. Suzanne was talking about civil separation. Barry said, none of that. I didn't take any of that with a grain of salt that day when she said that. There's no way in my mind thought that she would sit down and say, I want a divorce. That statement right there was in the middle of angry outburst via text, and I never understood it. Now I do, but then I blamed it on the alcohol or the rugs or something in her system. Barry added, because she would have these outbursts, I would come home and it was like nothing ever happened. It was like two different people. So I understand, and I told this to Joe from the beginning. This looks bad. When we had this fight, I thought it was Friday. That's another thing. I said that coincidentally looks bad, but that had nothing to do with anything. Special Agent 𝐁𝐿𝐥𝐿 showed Barry deleted calls from his phone on May 4th, asking if he remembers why he deleted them. Barry said, no, I don't recall deleting any calls. The only thing I deleted was text because I don't want the girls to see them, but I don't recall deleting calls. Special Agent 𝐁𝐿𝐥𝐿 showed deletions of calls to Dan, Monex, Collegiate Peaks Bank, and others, and Barry said, no idea, don't recall deleting them. If I did, it was just to clean things up. Special Agent 𝐁𝐿𝐥𝐿 said agents are available whenever to meet with Barry. He said, well, I'm in a situation where I feel like I've looked bad because I've not reached out to you guys, but I've not reached out because of what everybody else is telling me. Barry asked if the FBI was having the sheriff keep tabs on him because it seems to Barry that the sheriff drives by when agents are in town. Special Agent 𝐁𝐿𝐥𝐿 said agents do not tell the sheriff what to do. Wow, they were watching. And Special Agent 𝐁𝐿𝐥𝐿 showed Barry a document with 3 calls from him to Gene on May 8th and 9th. Gene is Suzanne's father, explaining those were the only calls to Gene in Barry's phone logs. Barry said, Gene and I would always talk. And Special Agent 𝐁𝐿𝐥𝐿 replied that those were the only calls on his phone. He replied to Gene, well, Gene and I talked quite a bit. Well, here's the deal. Usually it's him calling me. Agents explained that the last call happened on the way back from Moonlight Pizza on Friday, May 8th. Barry said he thinks that call was him telling Gene to tell his son that all the money was paid back. Special Agent 𝐁𝐿𝐥𝐿 placed a page documenting Barry's use of airplane mode on his phone in April and May 2020, saying agents thought he was keeping Suzanne from seeing where he was, and it did not appear accidental. Barry asked that's UI and said, Special Agent Grusing said it was a record of his use in 2020 since April 15th. Barry said, oh, you're talking about not that day. Yeah, you're talking about, yeah, I did that to let her know because she tracks me everywhere I go. No, I mean, yeah, maybe she was tracking him if she thought he was cheating, but I think that's a lie. Especially, she was cheating, I think. Special Agent Grusing asked what events made Barry decide to turn it on and off. He said, just, not that I'm doing anything wrong, but just to try to get her to say, oh, I couldn't track her. I couldn't track you, or just shook his head side to side. Barry added, well, she would just show up at my job sites in a rage, thinking that I was having sex with one of my clients. Remember yesterday or the day before yesterday in the part where he talks about Morgan and how people were saying that him and Morgan, one of the people from his work, like they were like together or whatever. I don't know. Maybe Suzanne thought he was having sex with Morgan. Wait, is that her name, Morgan? I think so. Although I do think she's kind of crazy too. Okay. But there's always absolutely no way he didn't know that affair. Yeah, I agree. He knew. He clarified that the incident occurred in Indiana, saying it made him look bad in front of his clients. Barry said, I know for a fact that if you guys could find out what she did, there's no doubt in my mind you could have found out if I had a girlfriend. True. Nobody, right? Special Agent said he did not bring the photos of the SEX site searches that Suzanne was supposedly framing him on. Barry said, I never went to a corn site, and I'm against watching corn. I do not watch corn. Have I looked at naked women on one of those sites? I have before. But if there was ever a site that was searching for a woman, it was not me. Lies, dude. Lies. He's a pig. Barry said, I've never even inappropriately texted another woman since I've been married, probably since I've been in love. He said there's no proof out there he did so. Barry said he can see agents are genuine and honest, and he appreciates the work for him. He added, and I would just beg, whatever you do, please clear me. Special Agent Grusing said agents want to clear him and find Suzanne. Barry was told that the FBI researched Suzanne as if she was a wanted fugitive, to include facial recognition, and have not found Suzanne. Barry said, I just think if something happened and she left, that something went wrong. And how could we know that? Special Agent Grusing talked about the difference between fugitive trying to disappear from someone with Suzanne's lifestyle disappearing. Barry asked, is suicide, and would that be? Special Agent Grusing said, investigators believe her body is close to where the bike and helmet are. Barry said, Joe said that you had the planes that could detect disturbed soil. I mean, didn't they do that? Special Agent Grusing said the mountains and rocky terrain make that method difficult. Special Agent Grusing talked about mine shafts, and Barry shifted in his chair. The possibility was posed to Barry that she could not be in one of those, considering the staging of the bike and helmet. So, yeah, they believe that all of it was staged. Barry said, if that is the case, then why wouldn't we have as many thousands of agents as they said has been on this case? Why don't we have thousands of people doing a grid search, looking for anything that could be a dig site, a Barry site, a piece of clothing? Barry posed scenarios of a drifter taking Suzanne or a hit and run. He continued, that's a scenario that's possible. What if a lion grabbed her, took her up? I don't think I've never heard of a lion consuming a whole body. Maybe it's happened. I don't know. But the lion's not going to eat the clothes. So those would be, she should be found if it was a lion. Oh, should be found if it was a lion. Barry agreed to meet again to finish answering agents' questions for the case audit. April 5th. During this two-part interview, FBI agents placed 26 exhibits in front of Barry, including photos Suzanne sent to her lover, cell phone data, search photos, and timeline of his activities on May 9th and 10th, and surveillance photos. At approximately 10:25 a.m., Special Agent Grusing and Special Agent Harris contacted Barry at his residence in Poncha Springs. Barry said mentally still kind of in that just confused mode about, and I shared this with you guys. I was one way, and when you guys told me about the affair, just did a 180 in my mind. I don't even know if it's a fair way for me to think sometimes. Hi, Britt. Good to see you, beautiful. Special Agent Grissing asked what Barry meant by a fair way to think. Barry stated, just, I don't think about her the way I did before you told me that. Obviously, I think any guy would say that. I love her. I forgive her. But the betrayal is just harder. And I never was unfaithful on my part, so I just don't understand it. I want to blame it on the cancer, the chemo, the rugs, the alcohol. And if I could blame it on that, I would feel better. I mean, I don't even think the girls would talk to her if they found out she did this. She's acting like she's like doing all these things she didn't do. I don't believe that. She was taking anxiety medications, and yeah, she would drink, and yeah, she was having an affair, but he was mistreating her. And there was issues for a long time. So Barry needs to just shut it. Special Agent Grissing asked about the time when Barry texted Redacted in Mexico about Suzanne not being the one receiving texts from Redacted. Barry replied, well, she had been a witness that once before at the house where it was a time where Suzanne was just really banging me up about having somebody. And I was kind of at my wit's end and grabbed her phone one time, and Redacted was at school, but Redacted was there. So one of the daughters was at school and one of them was there. And I just let Redacted know. I said, you need to come down and hear this. Your mom thinks I'm having an affair. There's no way I've ever done anything. And like I told you guys before, that was the only time we ever had arguments. Special Agent Harris said agents are concerned about Barry's end of life planning steps to include selling off assets and his statements of not being around anymore and his weight loss. What? Barry's end of life? Special Agent Grissing added that Barry's behavior with Shoshana to include pictures of them taking at Antler's hotel appears concerning. Wait, who the hell is Shoshana? That name has not been brought up in this document. Barry said, well, I'll tell you right now, she's a special person in my life. And I've told you before, she's a dear friend. There's nothing sexual going on with her and I. The lover, Shoshana. So we have Shoshana for Barry and Jeff for Suzanne. I'm shook. This is the first time we hear about Shoshana. Barry continued, and I didn't meet her until October 25th. The first time I even saw her face to face and talked to her was October 25th. Barry said meeting Shoshana, God answered his prayer of please give me something. He continued, my daughters know about Shauna. They know we're friends. They know I go over there. And yeah, I've been there late at night, but we're talking and we're just helping each other. And that's it. What? Talk at the Starbucks. I don't know. Not in the bedroom. Why does Barry think we're idiots? Special Agent Grissing addressed the end of life planning again, and Barry said, no, I'll be honest with you guys, and I've shared this with you. It's this thing. I'm a tough guy. This has been painful to me, and just being done with it, I've definitely thought about it. I can never worry about that. I know that selling of the assets is just for me to get out of here. I'm getting out of here. I'm like, what? Special Agent Grissing discussed the goal of agents to complete the audit with the gaps that exist and intention to complete the investigation through the best means possible. Barry asked, and you assured me that if we get UIs for you guys, you'll clear me? Special Agent Grissing agreed, and Barry continued, I just need to get to move on from this to start healing. Discussion of Exhibit 1. Special Agent Grissing introduced the first page containing a photo of the surroundings of Barry's house and titled it Sheila's Visit in 2019. When asked what was going on, Barry laughed and stated, and I told Suzanne this, and I don't know what she told Sheila, but I was in Arizona hunting, and I had been camping for 7 days. Smelled like crap, looked like crap. I thought they were out in town eating, and I just wanted to make sure they weren't in the house, and I just wanted to get in there and take a shower. And I just looked, and it didn't seem like anybody was there. Just went back, and I went up the hill, and I looked. I didn't see anything. And they were in there, and I guess they called the Cushmans, and then Pete comes flying out with his pistol. Barry continued, and I smelled like freaking crap and looked like crap. And he wanted to see if they were in the house. Special Agent Harris asked if Barry pulled his vehicle into the driveway, and he said no. I pulled into Betty's driveway over here in the cul-de-sac, and he pointed towards the top of the page. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐤𝐸 asked why he parked away from his house, and Barry said just because I wanted to see if they were there. He said he could shower somewhere else if he needed to, but I haven't seen my wife in 7 days. I'm going to shower. I didn't want Sheila to see me like this. That's all I was doing. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐤𝐸 said agents were wondering if Barry suspected Suzanne was at the house with her lover. Barry replied, no, I know Sheila was there. When Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐤𝐸 repeated, you know Sheila was there, he said, yeah, absolutely. This is discussion of Exhibit 2. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐤𝐸 told Barry that Agent Derek Graham previously reviewed with him some of the items on his list made by Suzanne, last backed up on May 8th. Barry was asked if Suzanne ever went through the list with Barry. He said no, but there's things that she would throw at me when she was accusing me of doing something. So if you want to go through that, Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐤𝐸 said agents would like to discuss a few items, but not the entire list. Barry was shown the line, can't be healthy and stay in this relationship, and asked if she told him that, to which he replied she did not. Special Agent Harris told Barry about the recording from the pen when Suzanne told Barry controlled what she could eat or wear. And Barry interjected, but I've never done that. I've never controlled her like that. He added, and there was one time where we did get into a fight where she said, my cancer came back because of you, the stress that you're putting on me, and she did blame that on me during an argument. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐤𝐸 asked if that argument occurred here or in Indiana, and Barry replied, I believed it was here. Yeah. When asked how he responded to her, Barry said, I'm like, there's just, how can you say that? He added, how can she say those things about me if I never understood it till now. Now she's got a lover. Well, yeah, she's going to try everything she can to get friction between us. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐤𝐸 cited that May 6th text from Suzanne that the marriage was over, and Barry's response was that he loves her and he was trying to control his hurt heart. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐤𝐸 described Suzanne wounding him deeply and him trying to move forward. Never controlled her like that. Take a look at that one picture. Right, Jules. And then you know what I was thinking too? It's like, I think he's trying to just be like, I never controlled her. She's cheating. Like, you know, I'm so hurt. I'm so hurt. And I think that's actually really true. I think he is really hurt, but I think it made him nuts and psycho. And I think he got violent with her. And I think he was threatening her and she was threatening him. And then I think he chased her, was trying to do something in the house. And he ended up chasing her outside of the house to shoot her with the tranquilizer dart. And then she probably left on her bike. And then she was never found again. Barry said, yeah, the wound is her falsely accusing me, and I just never understood how to handle that, and I can't prove anything to her. But you would think after 32 years, all the dedication and love that she would trust me, that I'm not going to lie to her about it. Yeah, see, this is what made him break, like all of this. I think all of this made him snap, minimizing himself. Yes, thank you, Jules. That's right. Minimizing himself. Barry stated, and if I did have a woman and I wanted to get it off my chest and get counseling and move forward, that I would probably do that with her because I loved her. If I made a mistake, it was a mistake. Barry added, but I didn't. I just couldn't get in her head. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐤𝐸 interjected to the point that, quote unquote, knew I was looking at phone in bonus line from Suzanne's grievance list and asked Barry about that. He stated, Suzanne thought I had cameras in the deer eyes of my mounts. She thought there were cameras in there, and I threatened to rip them out and prove it. I didn't want to tear my deer mounts up, but Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐸𝐸 interjected to ask if Suzanne talked to Barry about him seeing her on her phone. Barry said, yeah, I've never seen anything on her phone that would just divulge what she was doing. Never. Special Agent 𝐭𝐤𝐸𝐸 asked about the May 6th text when Barry told Suzanne, I'm sorry that things went the way they did. He responded, the argument. He continued, and I said this all the time to myself, Barry, you just need to not get fired up and just show her love. Barry stated, so with Suzanne, that's what I was saying through this thing. I'm like, Barry, you got to love her. Just show her love. Don't let her get you fired up and get into an argument. I think it's very narcissistic when he talks in like third person. Special Agent reviewed the Wednesday morning text with Suzanne and Barry's response when asked if the argument happened before he went to work. Barry said, no, I think it was during work. I was actually on the Bobcat working here, texting her and now I don't understand it that morning, but I do now. I mean, she was trying to make me do something or make me leave her or say something because of this guy. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 asked what Suzanne said that morning, and Barry asked via text. He sighed and said Suzanne was accusing him of being with another woman. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 asked Barry, since Suzanne had a lover for 2 years at this point, why she would care if he had a girlfriend. He said, the only thing I can think of is because it would justify her thing to the girls. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 mentioned divorce, and Barry said, yeah, it would justify her divorcing if that's what she wanted. I mean, or it would justify her having an affair if she thought that in her mind, which there was sometimes where I truly believed she really thought that. And I thought that her mind just went crazy in that place. But now I found all this stuff out. I'm thinking she did that purposely to try to manipulate the situation with her family. Hi, abuelitas. Special Agent Harris and Suzanne thought Barry was having an affair at one point. Barry was asked what her distant unlovingness from his text to Suzanne meant. Barry stated, just being cold towards me. I mean, I didn't understand it at the time, but now if she's been in love with someone else and didn't want me, it makes perfect sense now that she was just being distant. Special Agent Harris asked if he felt that for a while. Barry responded talking about Valentine's Day in Florida being amazing and looking back, and she talked to this guy and she'd get a different face on, then be cold, and then she would come to her senses. Wait, another lie. He just said he didn't know about this guy. He's like, I didn't know anything. But Valentine's Day, so he knew she was talking to someone. He continued, I just blamed it on her cancer. She's been fighting this with her mind since we left Indiana, because that's when she was diagnosed. So I didn't want to ruffle any feathers during her treatment, but it was hard for me to show her love and take care of her during this time and not get my feelings hurt when she was cold or when she did something, drugs or alcohol. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 asked Barry if he bought a VPN on Redacted's credit card, reference Suzanne's note. Bought VPN security tag using Redacted's name or card. Barry said, no, if I did it, it was an accident. I don't even know what this is, but I think I told Redacted and Mom that I was trying I think somebody called me about fraud and said, you need this to protect yourself. And if that's what you're talking about, he's such a liar. Wow. I'm so glad he is arrested right now. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 said the purchase was in February of 2020, and Barry said, yeah, if that was it, I thought I was buying fraud protection and I didn't know what I was buying. But obviously, if my memory recalls what I was buying right, I think Suzanne thought I was doing something, secretly, which I wasn't. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 asked about Suzanne's note. Bedroom profession about marrying, having babies, in reference to someone else. Barry laughed and said, no. We was having sex one time and I said it to her. I just said it was just in the heat of the moment, in a sexual frenzy. I'd say it directly to her. I'd say, I want to marry you and have babies. But she thought I was talking to my hand. This woman that's in my hand in a chip. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 addressed Suzanne's complaint regarding security cameras, asking Barry if he removed the DVR or recording device from the home system. That wires seemed disconnected. Barry said, I don't remember. I would almost bet $100,000 that she took them out. They never worked. When we got there, they did for a little bit, and I hired a company to come, and I don't know if they didn't work because of her sabotaging them or what, but I could care less about them, so it didn't matter to me. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 asked Barry if he could use his phone to see the camera's footage, and he said, well, that's what I do with my door security. I just got the alarm set, so if somebody comes in, they think the cops are coming in, but it's not hooked directly to a company. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 asked Barry if he had synced the cameras from his house to his phone. Barry answered, I don't think I could ever get them. I thought it was because of the bad reception, the cell service in the mountains. So after everything happened, I could do that, but I couldn't always get them on my phone because of the cell service. But sometimes I could. Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 asked, sometimes you could? Special Agent 𝐁𝐤𝐥𝐿 and Harris asked Barry what wireless service he used to send the signal from the camera to his phones. Barry said, I don't know if through HughesNet was our internet provider. I didn't know. I just know when the new guy put the new ones in, he showed me the app. He never knows anything except the lies he's telling. Special Agent Grusing asked if Barry could get the camera feed sporadically. Barry said, yeah, I could never open them when I wanted to. It just seemed like sometimes they would open, sometimes. Special Agent Grusing interjected, asking Barry what app he used. Barry replied, Luna, I think Luna. Yeah. Barry stated, under my best recollection of all my cameras were in my safe because I never used cameras in a hunting season. Every once in a while, I put one on the driveway just to see a car coming in and out. But Special Agent Grusing said agents tried to find Barry chasing the chipmunks on the cameras recovered and could not. Wouldn't he want to have cameras so he knows when there's a big bull elk in the driveway? Okay, so Barry said, well, I don't think any cameras were there. They were in the safe. He added, everything was in the safe. They took everything from the safe. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry how he knew the chipmunk was outside to chase it that day. And he said, oh, they're always out there. That's just what I do. I mean, I've shot 85 chipmunks at my house. And when I'm bored, I shoot the chipmunks. I'm rolling my eyes like, what a liar, dude. No wonder he's a big fat liar. Special Agent Grusing said, right, and asked if the chipmunk GUN was in the car or in the truck with him, and he said he did not remember. Special Agent Grusing noted from the evidence it appeared that Barry made it from the garage to the porch in 7 seconds and asked Barry if he remembered where the firearm was. Barry stated, I don't recall. It could have been in the truck. It might have been, but I don't recall. Special Agent Grusing asked if the scope was mounted on the GUN at the time, and Barry said, yeah, nodding his head. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry what he did with the chipmunk after it was unalived, and he said he either threw it up on the hill where the crows come and get them or down by the river. Wow. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry about Suzanne's statement, just wrestled free, and Barry said, I've never constricted her with my arms. Never. He added, and if we were in the argument, I would push up against her, maybe, and then she would maybe slip around me. But I have never grabbed her, constricted her. Dude, what the heck is this bull? And I told you the one incident where I struck her. That was the only time in my entire life where I ever did anything. So if she's saying there was anything physical besides that, it's absolutely 100% not true. He struck her one time and then never again. Barry was asked about redacted sheets being a free-for-all statement by him being related to the tranq dart being used. Barry asked, in the house? Special Agent Grusing said it was unknown if it was used in the house, and then asked if it was related to the sheets on Redacted's bed. Barry said, absolutely not. I told you what I do. I will open that back door. I tranq a deer in the backyard that's sitting there eating my grass. And if there's any tranq dart anywhere, it's from one of those. Special Agent Grusing said the evidence of the tranq dart was found inside the house. Barry replied, yeah, or I've shot the deer from that little breezeway between the garage and the laundry room out the back door. Special Agent Grusing asked about the back door, and Barry said, the back door is outside, the kitchen window where the bird bath is. Yeah, if there was a tranq dart out there or outside the house, it's from me shooting deer. Special Agent Grusing showed Barry an exhibit labeled 12 consecutive calls on May 9th, the day before Suzanne goes missing, and explained that investigators thought Suzanne may have disappeared Friday night until seeing the text between her and her lover. Barry was told Suzanne thinking at this point in the marriage was summed up by the May 6th text and opposed to Barry's assertions. Special Agent Grusing said that from 2:47 p.m. on Saturday forward, she was not responding to her lover. So yes, I believe that on Saturday, I think she was unalived. That's just my opinion. I think she was already unalived on that day for sure. Footnote, the breezeway is located directly between the lawn chairs where Barry earlier said Suzanne was sunbathing when he came home at 2:44 p.m. when she provided Jeff, her lover, with her last proof of life. Barry said, that's because we were together and we had talked about having a good evening together and putting phones down. Special Agent Harris explained how investigators looked at evidence and statements considering people's biases versus a lack of bias from evidentiary items like cell phone and telematics. When things don't add up, investigators consider the bias component and most likely side with the evidence. Special Agent Grising told Barry that investigators want the truth from him, even if it does not look good for him. He said, affirmative. Barry was told that he, like many in his position in similar investigations, is hesitant to talk about Saturday afternoon because he thinks agents would rush to judgment and say he did this. Special Agent Grising said Suzanne's phone was either taken or shut off, not under her control, on Saturday. Barry said, well, that didn't happen. I didn't take her phone that day. I didn't know she was communicating with anybody, but we did discuss having a good evening together and turning phones off. And I maybe put mine in airplane mode instead of turning mine. I don't remember what I did. No, she was texting selfies to her lover. She did not want to have a good time with him. Thank you, Jason. Allegedly, she did not want to have sex with him. She was ready to leave him, and he killed her. Special Agent Grising said Barry took his phone out of airplane mode at 10:17 p.m. For 8 hours, you don't know your phone's on airplane mode? I don't even think you can listen to music on airplane mode, right? You can do shite. I don't know. I don't really ever put it on airplane mode. Barry asked that night. Special Agent Grising confirmed that night. Barry said, or she did. Special Agent Grising asked, she brought yours out of airplane mode? Barry said, yeah. Special Agent Grising said that would be odd because Suzanne's phone had no activity. Barry replied, yeah, I'm not. I don't recall taking it out of airplane mode. First, he's like, yeah, I did it. Then he's like, no, she did. And then he's like, no, I don't remember. It's like me coming up here and saying, like, I don't remember that my name is Melly. Barry stood up and walked towards the cell phone that was charging. The phone rang about 5 minutes previously. He said, let me make sure that's not my work calling. Who called you 5 times, Barry, in front of the agents? His lover. You can listen to music, just cuts the cellular connections, but you can use it as an iPhone. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know like the internet and stuff won't work, but I was just curious, like why you would have your phone on airplane mode for 8 hours. I don't know. You guys in the chat put your phone on airplane mode for 8 hours? If so, let me know what the hell you're doing. And if it's something inappropriate, I don't want to know. Special Agent Grising turned to communications between Suzanne and her lover, Fred. Wait. Her lover, Fred. Oh, they used Fred as the name because he was still a suspect. So they didn't want to give Barry the lover's name because they were like, Gary's going to lose his damn mind and go and like pew pew him too, or maybe shoot him with the dart. I don't know. We don't know. He's a psychopath. But I think Fred is like, a pseudonym for Jeff. No. Because I don't think she was having an affair with 2 people. Barry was shown the photo of Suzanne dated April 14th, 2020, and asked if he thought she looked high. He said, yeah. Special Agent Grising clarified, she looks intoxicated to you? Barry stated, yes. Do you mind if I read? Hossein, where were you? Hi, Hossein. Look at these pictures of Suzanne right here. Wow. Barry asked, is this him or her? Agents explained the messages and photos were Suzanne's sides of texting to her lover. Okay, yeah, so it is. After reading a few pages, Barry said, yeah, she looks intoxicated on every picture I've seen so far. Barry, just shut it, please. Special Agent Grising pointed to a photo of Suzanne wearing a red shirt on April 18th, 2020, and asked, that one? And Barry said, yep. Oh, she's so pretty. After continuing to read through the text, Barry said, she's saying he was referencing the 4/21/2020 photo of Suzanne wearing a yellow and white shirt with her text, thanks, baby, I wear it for you. Barry stopped reading, sat down, and agents asked if he had thoughts. He said, that's pretty hurtful. Barry was shown a photo of papers from the Brewfield wall, and Special Agent Harris explained the photo was from a bathroom drawer. Barry said, yeah, that's probably my side of the bathroom. Special Agent Grusing asked if he came back from the site and put those in the drawer. Barry said, I had different copies. He added, that was the original copy they gave me, like when we first was looking at the job. Ew. Karma. That's disgusting, I'll see. She is really pretty. Special Grusing showed Barry a photo of a .22 round in his bedroom, asking Barry if he knew where it was from. He said, no, I don't. He guessed it came from his pocket when Suzanne was folding laundry. Special Agent Grusing showed Barry a photo of damage to the door frame of their bedroom, explaining the prior owner said it was not there previously. Barry was asked if that was a result of an argument or him being locked out. He said, I have no idea what that's from. When asked if he knew it was there, Barry replied, no. I can't with the lies anymore. I just can't do it. The door is broken and there is damage to your bedroom door. Are you aware of it or no? Let me know in the chat. You walk through it, out of it, in it, through it all day long. Well, when you're home and you're going night-night or whatever the hell you're doing in your bedroom. I don't freaking know. And you wouldn't notice that? And I think they were fighting in this. I think the door got messed up from fighting. Special Agent Grusing showed Barry a page showing friend request on Suzanne's Facebook on Friday, May 8th, and asked him if he was responsible. Barry said, no. He added, I never did anything on her Facebook. I think he broke into her Facebook. I think he got into her Facebook or was trying to that night. Special Agent Grusing said by this date in May, Suzanne had the text fight with him and they were accusing each other of having lovers. Barry was asked if he was sending the request to see if she had a boyfriend. He said, absolutely 100% no. I absolutely did not. I never went into her phone, into her Facebook ever. The only time I touched her phone was in Mexico when I thought she was secretly doing something. I think I've told you that story. And she said, here, and gave me, and you can look. She gave it to me and let me look because there's no way I find out what you guys had found out. Hello, Cree Love. Barry continued, and I went to Snapchat and I looked through all of her Snapchat people and I looked through all of her text people. I didn't see anything and I gave it back to her. Remember there was apps that were like deleted too? And that were like re-downloaded. And I'm like, I'm wondering if Suzanne was deleting them or if he deleted them for a reason. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry about Suzanne's list that said, chased me around resort and threatened, and took phone if those occurred at the same time. Remember the notes that Suzanne put in her phone about Barry? So they're like asking him, like, what was that about? Barry replied, yeah, that's I don't remember chasing her, but I maybe walked behind her. I wouldn't chase through a resort, but I was wanting her phone and that's when I got it. Special Agent Grusing returned to the Bobby Huff and Facebook request confirming it was not Barry. And he said, no, absolutely not. Barry continued, if you look at my Facebook account, you'll see that I never communicated with anybody, maybe a high school friend here or there, but never any of these women I don't know. Never had communication. And, she was bothered by that. And I said, if you want me to cancel it, I'll just cancel it. And I ended up canceling it. And it wasn't worth me having to fight my wife about it. And we've talked about Facebook before because we had a friend's marriage blow apart because of Facebook contact with an old boyfriend. And I said, I just don't think it's good for us to even have it. So obviously, look what happened. He didn't like Suzanne being on social media. He was jealous. I wasn't chasing her. I was just walking behind her. Please, Osane, tell me. Who would believe this? Nobody. Definitely not us. Oh, I love smudge sticks, Cree. I'm super into that stuff. Barry continued, she had it, contacted somebody, and here it is. Special Agent Harris asked Barry if he had any thoughts now of why she did those friend requests. Barry said, because she probably knew that I would get upset if she would friend men. And she's probably, from everything we've talked about, in a state of mind where she just don't care anymore about what I think. If she was doing that, why would, if she was already in love with Jeff, why would she be trying to make him jealous with friend requests? Like, I don't think Suzanne was this caught up in like leaving Barry. Like, I think she was like done with him, and I don't think she would have just sat there and added up a bunch of random men when her lover is like on Facebook and her husband. I don't think it. Okay, yeah, Cree. I'll message you. I think you're on the Discord, right? That would be cool. That would be really cool. Special Agent Grising asked if Suzanne would know Barry would see it, and he said probably not. Special Agent Grising questioned why she would do it to upset Barry if she did not think he would see it. Barry said, I don't think, I just knew, I just didn't touch her phone. I mean, she thought I did, but Special Agent Grising said it seemed like she set a trap for Barry, and he said, I mean, it sounds like that to me. I don't think she did it I don't know why she did it, but I don't think she would think I'm going to look at her Facebook account because I just don't do it. Special Agent Grising said Barry told agents prior that their phones were tied together through Apple, and he had the main. Barry interjected, yeah, but she changed hers. She got her own private, and obviously now I see why she did it for this boy. Oh yeah, I'll drop it in a sec too. He was just walking behind the chipmunks. and the elk. Money. Maybe Barry makes more money than her lover. I don't think that's what it was, because Suzanne had just inherited, I think it was like, what did we say on Monday? Like $380,000 from like her grandma. But I'm sure Barry's yes, yes, he is. Barry added, but yeah, she had her own Apple ID and password and stuff I knew nothing about. Special Agent Grising asked Barry if he knew by now who Suzanne's lover was, and he said, no, I'm still in the dark about that. Special Agent Grising asked if he cared at this point, and he said, well, I want to know. I'm afraid of doing something I'd regret. Not that I would unalive the guy, but if I would see him, I would probably hit him pretty hard in the nose. He's got a douche name too. Yeah, Scary Barry. Scary little Barry. Yeah, hairy ass Barry. That one's a good one. Okay. Redacted came home and Barry asked to continue the interview at the fire station. Cheers. Not to Barry, to you guys in the chat. At 11:41 a.m., agents followed Barry inside the station while he spoke on the phone. While being seated, Barry said he was working on a project at the river property. Special Agent Grising said investigators were trying to determine if anyone independent of Barry could provide last proof of life of Suzanne. Boo, Barry, you suck. And you smell like ass. Okay, he asked, what about the two people that saw her Sunday? He added, I just heard there were two people. Special Agent Grising interrupted, saying those leads had been covered. And this is just my opinion, too. Don't get your panties in a bunch. If you like Barry, don't say it in the chat, because I'll probably time you out. I'm just kidding, but not really. Special Agent, who could like Barry anyways? Special Agent, well, apparently Shoshana. What was her name? Was that it? Shoshana Bobana. Yeah, not to Barry. Scary Barry, who's scary, and he peed the size of a canary. I'm sorry, that's actually really freaking funny, Cree. I love you for saying that. I really do. That's like my favorite thing. Shoshana. Okay, yeah. Barry makes me want to drink. That's why I'm drinking my beer. Don't tell. Don't tell, please. I'm still laughing at Cree's comment. Special Agent Grising told Barry that at after 2:44 p.m. on Saturday, no other persons before Barry could say Suzanne was alive. No, wait, on Saturday. Okay, that's when we think she was unalived. Saturday. Barry asked if he could try working backwards through the events from Sunday morning to Saturday afternoon to see if more leads could be developed. Special Agent Grusing asked if the last thing Barry remembered about Suzanne was hearing her breathing. Barry said no. The last thing I heard her do was snoring. He added lightly snoring, and Special Agent Grusing asked if she was in bed, and he said yes. I get Chris Watts vibe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm traumatized from that case. You know it though. If you know, you know. You know? We know. You're funny. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry where he was when he heard her. He said, I was going from the bathroom to the kitchen. Just because I get ready in the bathroom. Well, no shit. Barry was asked the last time he saw her or heard Suzanne prior to that. And he said, just probably before we went to sleep, after we had SCX. Special Agent Grusing asked what happened before that. And Barry said, before that, we had dinner. When asked where he sat, Barry said, at the bar. Barry was asked what he ate and what she ate. He said, we split a steak because she never eats a full meal. Barry, what I want to know is, did she eat that steak with her hands like an animal? Because they didn't find anything but one dirty dish. Could they maybe have shared a dish? Sure, maybe. Maybe it's a possibility. Anything is possible. But she was already dead, in my opinion. When Special Agent Grusing asked what else he or she ate, Barry said, I don't recall. Special Agent Grusing asked before that. Barry said, before that, I think it had to be when I got home from doing my bobcat with Crib, and she was outside laying in the sun. He added, I think I sat out there with her. I don't know if that's when the chipmunks or when did the chipmunks before I went to Crib? I don't recall. Special Agent Grusing said, because of Barry's phone activity, the chipmunks would have occurred after the Crib trip. Barry stated, okay, then the chipmunks, she was laying out. I was looking, I probably went to sit with her while she was laying out, seen a chipmunk and got my GUN and shot the chipmunk. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry to work forward from the chipmunk, and Barry said, I truly don't recall that. Wow. Special Agent Grusing told Barry that on Saturday at 11 a.m., he told Morgan he was planning to take a hike or bike ride with Suzanne, and now he was unsure if his Fooz's hike was that day. Barry stated, I've not recalled what that day was. Could have been Saturday, but I just don't recall it. He added, but I know it was in that probably 3-day period. I do remember that much, but it could have been Saturday. It could have been Friday. I don't recall. Special Agent Grusing showed Barry a photo of Google Earth image around his house and the results of the telematics from his truck at 2:47 p.m. until 9:25 p.m. on that Saturday. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry if he was preparing for his Broomfield trip. Barry said, yeah, just packing clothes and tools and stuff. Special Agent Grusing asked Barry if he wanted to review the times on the sheet, explaining he did not have much time to cook steak when his doors were opening and closing. They're like, you're a little dirty little liar, you Barry. Stinky little Barry. Barry looked at the sheet and said, I was grilling this. I'm just saying he's stinky because remember he was like, I smell bad. Barry looked at the sheet and said, I was grilling the steak outside and probably doing things in my truck at the same time. I mean, I can assure you we grilled steaks and ate steaks that night. This is him at the table when they're talking to him. He's kind of scary looking. Are those muscles? Wow. Barry added, I mean, you should have seen the dishes. Did they see the dishes? Special Agent Grusing said, Agent Graham found one set of dishes that was used. Barry said, we shared the same plate. I'm done. Remember, I said that earlier. I'm like, they could have shared the same plate. I knew it was coming. While Barry was reviewing the telematic time, Special Agent Grusing asked, you were guessing sex happened. What? You were guessing sex happened. What do you know when? Wow, I know. Barry stated, I know it was after the steaks before I went to sleep. Special Agent Grusing asked if there was a gap, possibly an hour or two in between, and Barry said, I don't remember. Special Agent Grusing said agents were trying to fill in And Barry interjected with, I want to help you guys. I want to help you guys get this clarified for your sakes and for my sakes. To this day, don't even remember taking my bobcat to town to crib to do that Saturday. I don't know why that is gone from my memory. I just don't recall. He added, and I told Derek and Joe the same thing. I said, because they were beating me up on that time frame, and I'm like, I don't recall that. I don't ever recall that. And I know that I went through a lot of trauma before those questions, emotionally and mentally. And maybe that was it. But I got a pretty good memory. Special Agent Gsing asked Barry when the last time he saw Suzanne was that night, since he only heard her snoring Sunday morning. He replied, I would say between 8 and 9, if I was guessing. Special Agent Gsing asked if she went to bed nude or with pajamas, and Barry stated, no, she never sleeps in the nude. I don't know if she was nude after when we had sex, but I do know what she put on when she put on, she always puts stuff on. She doesn't sleep in the nude. Special Agent Gsing asked Barry when he last saw her, and he answered, probably during sex. He added, because like most men, I probably fell asleep pretty soon after that. Special Agent Gsing said that from the truck activity, sex must have happened after 9:25 p.m. Barry said, and it could have been, depending on the light of day then. It was May, so it's still, right now I see it's getting lighter and lighter, so I'm just kind of basing off light instead of clocks. What does the time of day have to do with sex? I think you can have sex at any time of day. He's going down. Barry's cooked this time. Don't you guys think? Yes. I think they got him this time, Cree. I don't think they would have pursued it again and done all of this again if they didn't actually have like a solid case again. Special Agent Gsing asked if Suzanne seemed out of the normal regarding their sex that night, considering the affair and fights that week. Barry said, no, I've never had a feeling that anything was different in our sex life. Never. Special Agent Gsing referenced Barry's phone function at airplane mode on at 2:47 and off at 10:17. Okay, so remember they had sex at 9:25. So while they were having sex, his phone was in airplane mode. And then Suzanne woke up, didn't touch her phone or got it, whatever she was doing, didn't touch her phone at all, but touched his phone. Yeah. No. Barry stated, and I don't recall that. And I think I told you I don't recall that. And I'm wondering if that could have been her. Special Agent Gsing told Barry his phone was back in airplane mode at 4:32 a.m. Sunday morning and asking if he noticed that and noted that Suzanne was not awake. Barry shook his head and said, I just don't recall. He added, I just don't recall any of the airplane mode thing. I wonder, like, at trial and stuff, like, if he's going to say that. Like, I don't recall. I don't recall. I don't know. She was dead already. Yeah. I think that he killed her on Saturday during the morning or during the day when she was out riding her bike. I think it was all made up. I think they didn't have sex. I don't think they ate steak. He continued, not saying that I didn't. I could have, because we always talk about when we're going to have an intimate night, turning the phones off. So, but I just don't recall that. Special Agent Gsing asked about the 4:32 a.m. airplane mode function while Barry was preparing to leave Broomfield. Barry stated, I know that I could have been in the shower and she could have gotten up and turned it back on if she had turned it off. Easily could have done that because my phone is not with me in the shower. Special Agent Gsing asked Barry to review a series of 20 photos of him walking to the McDonald's trash can. The first few photos depicted him carrying a small item in his hand. He probably did to celebrate by himself, which explains the one plate, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Barry said, I know that I had a bunch of crap in my trunk from cleaning off my workbench, and I know that one of them was an old pair of boots that was ripped. And the other stuff, I just don't know. Special Agent Gsing said Barry had a small item in his hand and used one arm to push it down, then both to push it further down as Barry was shown in the photos. Barry said, yeah. The trash was heaping to the top. That's why just sitting in there. Special Agent Gsing asked if the photos helped Barry recall what the item was, and he said no. It was just probably in the trash. Special Agent Gsing showed Barry that he pushed the trash to the extent his shoulder was in the trash. So he was really trying to shove something down there in that trash can. Barry said, yeah, I don't even recall that, but Special Agent Grusin said Barry returned to the truck, grabbed another item, and walked it back to the trash can. Barry said, yeah. Barry was told anything he could remember helps the investigation. These appeared to be 2 small items he disposed. Barry said, yeah, I wouldn't. I couldn't tell you what that was. I think it was her backpack, and I think it was her phone that he disposed. And whatever else. Special Agent Harris reviewed Barry's left turn from 225 to see the bull elk on Sunday morning, looking for the future shed, asking him if he had to go up an elevation. Barry said, no, I was just seeing the route. I just wanted to know because they usually take the same route. So if a herd of elk is going to go up across the road at a certain place and go up there, then that's where I'm going to go looking for their sheds. Okay, I'm not going to lie, like he's pretty buff in this picture. Huh. Yeah, I definitely think he was laying hands on her. Special Agent, not that the buffness or muscles has anything to do with that, but I'm just saying the look in his face. Special Agent Grusin asked if Barry saw them and continued to look for their route as he went along. He said, no, I just wanted to see the direction because Colorado Trail is right off that parking lot and it's pretty flat all through there and it doesn't start going up till you get up to the railroad tracks. So you can pick them and see them through the trees, wherever they're going. Barry was asked if he was in a rush to get to Broomfield and the elk distracted him. He said, there was no rush to get there. I'm just an early riser and an early go-getter. And usually if an animal gets my interest, I'm going to take advantage of it. That's just it. But I just went down. I watched where they went, turned around, and went right into Broomfield. Agent showed Barry the photo of the mini DV operating manual for his camera, which Special Agent Harris explained was recovered in the bathroom drawer. Barry said, yeah, I never used it. Wait, why was a manual for a camera in your bathroom drawer? Was he hiding something? Why would he be hiding it in the bathroom drawer? Because Suzanne would probably be in there. I don't know. Yeah, and I never used it. I bought it because I thought I was going to use it as a game camera, a little thing, and it was cheap. And my game cameras, Special Agent interrupted and said the camera was not found in the search of his house. Barry stated, I don't even know what happened to it. I know that I bought it and it was tiny. And I think as soon as I got it, I tried to get it working and couldn't and thought it was just junk. And I got it ripped off. Special Agent Grusin asked when he bought the camera compared to when Suzanne went missing. Barry replied, I don't recall. Special Agent Harris said the manual was found at the top of the items in my drawer. Special Agent Grusin asked Barry to confirm he did not get it to work. Barry said, yeah, I tried to get it working and I couldn't. I just thought. Special Agent Grusin asked if he tried to mount it outside like a game camera, and Barry said, no, never. I couldn't get it working. That's insane. That's insane. Special Agent Harris reviewed photos of the safe in Barry's garage with items piled in front of the safe to address his concern that Suzanne took money from it. Why would she be taking money when she just inherited all this money? Special Agent Grusin showed Barry a photo of the contents of the bottom of the safe. Nothing that the scope looked like the scope mounted on the 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐿. Barry looked at the photo and stated, yeah, it does. He added, I could have mounted that after the fact. Special Agent Grusin said that was why agents asked him earlier about the scope being on the 𝐁𝐞𝐥𝐿, clarifying he could have mounted it after the fact. Barry shook his head, yeah, I just don't recall. Special Agent Grusin told Barry that serial matches the one on the squirrel 𝐁𝐿, and Barry said, yeah. Special Agent Harris showed Barry photos of Suzanne's wallet, cash, driver's license, hydration packet, medication, and other items recovered from her Range Rover. Special Agent Grusin said that considering the evidence, it does not appear Suzanne chose to disappear. Barry said, and I've never even thought that. No, you did. You thought she ran off to Mexico with a lover. And I've never thought that. Whatever, Barry. I'm so sick of Barry. I've had enough of Barry tonight. Okay. We are going to have to do another live for this document because we have like 20 pages left and I kind of want to do it after dark. So I'm going to schedule the last of this for tomorrow. And then I have a video that I want to watch regarding this case. It's taken us 4 lives to get through this document, but I just didn't want to do like a 5-hour live for the document. So I've spread it out. Make sure you check out the playlist on this case. This is the original indictment from 2021. We have read the one that just dropped. It's very short. It doesn't detail like this. This indictment is a very good indictment. It's really long, but I've really been enjoying it. A lot of details, a lot of proof, a lot of pictures, text message. This is a great indictment. The case is really sad, and I hope that there is justice for Suzanne this time around. But make sure you guys subscribe, and make sure you guys turn on your notifications. I know some people were like, I didn't get your notification. So make sure you unsubscribe and resubscribe if you're not. I will be live around the same time tomorrow. We're going to finish this document, and then we'll do an after dark, and then I might do an after dark after this. So make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. Thank you for being here. Hi, 𝐻𝐻𝐿. Thanks to my mods. Shout out to Jules for being here and being amazing. I will post the live for the remainder of this document after I get off here. So it's scheduled for tomorrow. Oh, let me send it to you, Cree. Wait, Cree, email me. I'm going to drop my email. I don't want to drop the Discord link because I get a bunch of weird, it's very private in my Discord. So then I'll give you the link. Email me and then I'll give you the link to the Discord. I generally drop it sometimes, but I've been weird because I don't want no creepers in there. She's just going to do it after dark, after her after dark. Not the, oh my God. Not the party after the after party. Who's that sound like? P. Diddy? Yuck. Ew. Okay. So we have 20 more pages of this. Yeah, 20 more pages. And we have read 150 pages of this case. By the time trial comes around and we're covering it here, we know everything. We know all the details. Everyone at Mellyverse knows about the Suzanne Morphew case. So nobody can even say anything to us. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for being here. Yes, we're going to drop feet pics or ass pics this week. Just kidding. Oh my God. Just kidding. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. I will see you after this. If you can't make it to the after dark, then I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for being here. Make sure you hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.